Welcome to episode 20 of the When I Grew Up series. It's a night edition for me in Los Angeles. I'm hanging out with Monique today of the Socialista. She's in Australia somewhere, and so I think it is her Thursday afternoon. So it's fun. Like if I have guests from outside of the US or if they're on the East Coast and I'm in Los Angeles time, I kind of switch it up depending on what works for them. So it's kind of fun, like doing the night ones every once in a while. But she is like the Instagram queen, the Instagram expert. And she, like, if you've got any kind of questions surrounding Instagram and all the things around that and reels and how to be, super active, she's going to be your go-to. Obviously, I do something similar, but not because I'm the photographer. So she is doing the social media strategy side of things. She does coaching calls all the time. So add your question. Okay, Monique, I might have to pause middle of our live. I see you in here. I'll add you up. And like plug my phone in somehow, but we got this. Okay, come on up here. Let's let this load for a sec. Monique, how are you?
I'm gonna tilt this up a little bit. How are you?
Yes, so good. Okay, I was explaining. Is it Friday for you right now?
Thursday.
Like 3 o'clock?
Thursday, 2 p.m.
Yes. Okay, awesome. Yes. So it's your Thursday. It's my Wednesday night at 7. So we'll get a mix of people. I'll get the nighttime warriors, and then you'll get some of the mid workday people. But I'm excited to host you because you've been doing so many just incredible things, and the way I actually found you was on Clubhouse. So that's exciting, and you're really prolific on there. So it's like ever since we've connected on Clubhouse and then I've been following you on Instagram, I'm just like, okay, you have got to talk to my followers and give some tips and tricks on all things social media. But I would love to hear a bit of your background of, like, I always ask my guests their when I grew up dreams. So like, what did you want to be when you grew up? And then kind of like, where are you now in the process? It's helpful for us to listen in and get an idea of like, okay, if she can do it that way, maybe we can pull some ideas from you.
Love that. So I'll give a little intro. So hello, everyone. My name and I am the founder, creator of the Socialista. As you can hear from my accents, I am based in Sydney, Australia. So the opposite side of the world, I'm coming to you from the future. Yeah, I am an Instagram coach, an Instagram Reels coach, a content creator, and a social media manager. So yeah, I started my business 2.5 years ago, where I started working with social media clients, working on their social media and things like that. And then I have now progressed and moved into Instagram coaching, where I focus my majority of my time and effort into. I actually finished school, went to university, studied communication and media, majoring in journalism and digital media. And every time I went for a job interview or for a full-time position or an internship position, I'd somehow land these social media jobs. No matter what job I applied for, I somehow ended up going back into the social media side. So I was like, okay, let me just take this apart of the universe telling me I need to go in this path. So let me just do it.
Yeah.
Did an internship, did a part-time job, did a full-time job in this, and then I decided that I wanted to go out on my own and do it myself. And your question before, when you said, what did you want to be when you were younger? I had a conversation with my family last week, where I said, do you guys remember what I said when I was little that I wanted to be? This was me going back. I was probably 5. When I was 5, I was like, when I grow up, I've never actually said this before.
Good. See, that's why I asked the question. We get all the juicy stuff. We're all watching like, yes, finally something she hasn't said in an interview.
When I grow up, I want to be a superstar.
That
was my career goal.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Imagine that. You know, when you see kids and they have their little plaques for their first day of kindergarten, they're like, when I grow up, I want to be a police officer. When I grow up, I want to be, I don't know, a nurse or a doctor, whatever. Mine was superstar. And I'm like, I kind of got that because I'm becoming a superstar in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, with reels, I'm becoming a superstar in reels, I guess. And yeah, I'm like, this is kind of odd how superstar, not in the sense of like a triple threat in terms of singing,
Right.
dancing, acting on TV and stuff, but back then we didn't have social media. So now that is kind of like
Right.
my, where I'm able to, you know, sing, dance, and act technically inside of my reels. So
Yes, and showcase your personality, the confidence. I love that. So I can't even imagine growing up. Were you the girl that was like always doing the most, putting on the craziest outfits, having the most fun? I love that. That's so much fun.
yes, you would always find me like, you know, when at school they would do like liturgy dances or like random little parades, whatever, I would be the first one up there being like, yep, me. Like I'll choreograph the dance, I'll organize everyone together, I'll do the script, whatever that might look like. Yeah, that was me.
Okay, see, I love that. Okay, so that was you, and then you kind of gave more of the background of school and work, and then you launched this company 2.5 years ago. So let's see, I'm going to just dive into some questions, and I know that we'll get some from the audience as well. But for those of us that, and I'm not saying myself, but I'm saying many business owners, and you have this in your coaching business too, where I'm sure you have to go through this on one of the first or second meetings of, okay, maybe you're not specifically like me with the way you are, Monique, and your energy and excitement, and you love to be in front of the camera. I'm sure a lot of your clients, you're having to coach them through, okay, it's okay if you don't feel
Yeah.
the most comfortable, and kind of easing them in. So for those of you guys watching, like what advice would you have if that's not natural for them and they didn't grow up with those dreams? Because I love it. It's like you are such a rare bird in that I feel like most CEOs are trying to hide behind their business.
Yes, and that's actually something that I really wanted to do in mine. Like I always find that I connect really well with businesses and people who are the face of their brands and who are
Yeah.
showing up and doing what they need to be doing. And so I find that's really powerful, and it really has transformed my business, my brands over the past few years.
Yeah.
Those I get it a lot of like a lot. People and clients who come to me and say, "Hey, Monique, like yes, well and good, I love what you're doing, but I'm too scared. I'm not going to post my
Right.
Facebook stories. I'm not going to dance on camera." You don't need to do any of that. For one, reels, you don't need to dance in your reels
Yes.
at all. That is just my
Yes.
personality. That is my trope. That is my brand identity, which is why I
Mm-hmm.
do it, because that's who I am. Which does not mean that you need to do it as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you are scared to put your face on your Instagram stories, I would actually start there, right?
Yeah.
Because you've got stories, you've got reels, you've got posts, maybe photos. Start small and start building your way up. So if that means having your phone and recording something else, but having your voiceover in the background, that's a great
Yeah.
way to get you to start feeling comfortable talking on camera and doing that impromptu kind of reel, or sorry, story.
Yes. Yes.
That's if you're confident. Then later on, when you start building up that confidence and doing more, you're then able to grow, and then you're able to start posting videos or maybe even a photo of yourself to your Instagram story and have
Yep.
writing on. Next, you
Mm-hmm.
want to record yourself maybe working in a time lapse, or putting boxes together, or doing something that you might do. Record that in a time lapse, post that. Then when
Yes.
you get more comfortable, you know, grab your phone. I'm using my phone now, but let's just say for example, yeah, grab your phone and then start recording yourself talking to
Mm-hmm.
your camera, and making sure that you are writing the captions in the Instagram story as well. Because what I find is that people compare themselves too much, too often to people
Yes.
who are here,
Mm-hmm.
right? People who have done this for ages, people who are born into this, people who, you know, have been trained for this. When they're
Right.
starting, yeah, not that it's any better
Mm-hmm.
or worse, but the kind of progression that you need to make to get to here isn't a one step. It is
Right.
multiple small steps that you take each and every day to get to that point, that way, like where
Yes.
you.
Okay, this is gold. I'm seeing all of your guys' questions. I'm seeing you guys all engaging in the chat. This is fun. Also, let us know where you're watching from. But I want to pull something out that you just said, Monique, and I think it's key for everyone watching and that will watch is you mentioned for your brand, what you do for Reels and on your feed is particular to you. And so
Yes.
that's something that I think we need to highlight if this is not your brand and these types of videos aren't your brand, what are? And so then creating, like going back to your target market, who are you trying to attract? And then nailing that down and deciding for yourself. Because I had a client say, well, I don't want to do the pointing at text. I'm like, you don't have to. You know, you probably actually shouldn't. You should come up with something different for yourself and your brand. And of course, work off what's trending. But like, yes, maybe she's not a dancer and she's not the most of this, but I love the ideas you gave us. So those were key. I hope you guys caught what she mentioned. You could literally try a few of those this week and you probably increase your reach and engagement tenfold. So that was incredible, Monique. I'm loving it.
Yes, it's really about establishing, okay, what is your unique point? What is your unique take in what you do? And how can you translate that inside your Instagram Reels? Because you're not, Instagram Reels and Instagram is specific to who you are. We don't want to be copies of everyone else. Just because everyone else is pointing, everyone else is dancing, you need to do that. I'm particularly not a fan of pointing. I'll do it here and there just to prove a point, but I'm more of a fan of, and my Reels aren't even dancing. When you think about dancing, you think of TikTok where they're like,
full on,
whatever. Not once do I ever do that in my Reels. My dancing is just jiving. It's just
something to get movement so they watch your video. Exactly.
So because no one can watch your reel that's like,
hi. I know. And if that's what your audience is, like they're accountants or insurance agents that don't need a lot of fluff and they just want straight to the point, fine, if that's who you're trying to attract. But I agree, you got to add a little fun and movement in. So we're getting a ton of questions. I want to make sure you guys know that we are going to address it, but I want to keep highlighting Monique just for a few more minutes. So Monique, as you are working with your clients, we can go two ways with this. I want to ask either one, what is like your dream client? So people can understand the type of people that you work with. Cause I know I'm going to get a lot of DMs after this of like, oh, okay, I want to like work with Monique, all this. So we could do that, or we could talk about some challenges that you found when you launched the business and some things that you're going through with that, and maybe come out with some hacks or tips or tricks. So you can choose what you want, and maybe you guys vote in the comments as well. But I want to make sure we give you guys what you want.
Awesome. Well, I'll go and touch on both. So my dream client has changed recently because I've kind of altered where I'm working with at the moment. So essentially who I work with are business owners, girl entrepreneurs who are ready to take their business and their Instagram to the next level, right? They've been posting to Instagram, they've been doing all the things, but they know they have more potential to do more. Hi, Jeremy. They have more potential to do more, right? So I work with female entrepreneurs who want to take their Instagram to the next level, whether that be to launch their product, to launch their service, to help them stand out on social media, to help them establish their key, unique standpoint. How to come up with unique ideas that are unique to you as a business owner, and so that you're not copying up. That's kind of my my dream client. That's what I work with them on. And one challenge that I find, and I work with people all over the world, which is awesome, which is the best part of my job.
Scheduling Zoom meetings in so many different time zones. A hack for that, and maybe you've got one, is World Time Buddy. That's what I use, worldtimebuddy.com. Because again, like I've got people Australia, UK, LA, New York. And so that's an easy one for all of you that are doing the same thing as Monique.
Definitely. And in terms, your other question was, what challenges did I have when I first started the business?
Yes.
Well, actually, one thing that I do regret when I first started the business is not spending enough time investing in myself at the start. I had in my mind that when you invest in yourself, that is when you've reached a peak. You've reached, this certain milestone, and that's when you need to then level up. That's when you then need to invest in yourself, invest in your mindset, invest in your website, invest in your social media, invest in your branding. That's not the case, because now I'm kicking myself, wishing I'd invested in all of that back then when I had the time to work on it, rather than right now where I'm just like, oh, there's so much going on. I have so much to do. I really don't have time for this at this moment. Jeremy, personal development, it is the important thing that I really wish I did more on, and that I focused more on. right now I'm working with a coach, which is awesome, in terms of mindset, business, all that kind of stuff. And honestly,
give us her name, because I think I was talking to a spree of the Women in Tech show, and she gave her coach, and people were like obsessed that she gave the coach's name. So can you share who it is, or do you like to keep it secret to you?
Sure. Is Anna Furu, so ANNA.FURU, and she's incredible. So she really focuses on money mindset blocks, business mindset, business growth, all that kind of stuff. And it's really helped kind of elevate my business, understand my prices and why I charge what I charge and what I should be doing, and really just building myself and as well my mindset in terms of how I look at things, attaching myself to things in terms of outcomes, right? Do you ever find times, for example, you know, maybe with yourself, you're booking in a client, or you've got a prospective client on the wait list, you've been talking to them and they say, yep, or I want to go ahead, or no, I don't want to. Don't attach yourself to that outcome.
Yes.
Right? You're going to either super, super happy or super, super upset, and it can go in ebbs and flows. So yeah, that's one thing that I'm learning at the moment. But yeah, personal development, so super important. And that was a challenge that I had that I wish I overcame a lot earlier. So there's, you really can't
agree.
Personal development.
Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to think of all the questions I will get and have gotten in the past. So when you decided to work with a coach, I'm sure you did some personal development stuff on your own. And like you said, you wish you would have done it earlier, but I'm sure at some point it clicked and you're like, okay, oh my gosh, I need to do this. So was there some books or some resources that you just like latched onto in that phase of your business before you were able to kind of level up and invest in the coach?
There is one that I have.
I'm putting you on the spot, by the way. Let's get to the details.
It is by Elizabeth.
Warren?
No. Let me get it.
Yes.
Give me.
This is awesome.
Right
this
here.
is real. It's like Clubhouse real, but on IG. And I promise you guys, we are gonna answer all your questions.
What Big Magic?
Yes. Big Magic. Why did I think her last name is Warren? That book changed my life. It's so good. It's so good.
It's my second time reading it through again. But such a great book in terms of understanding your creativity, understanding where that goes to, where that comes from, understanding like ideas, because ideas, you know, this actually happened last night. So last night, myself and Alicia, we are both the co-creators of Rises Reels, which is the Instagram Reels course. And we created an Instagram Reels cover page template, right? So all you need to do is plug and play, put in your brand colors, put in your photos.
Congratulations, by the way. I saw the launch. So exciting.
Thank you. Well, I see Alicia there actually commenting. We actually created a template for Instagram Reel covers, which was, they're so great, so needed. And someone actually messaged me and they said, I love her to bits. Love her to bits.
Ooh! No, I'm just kidding.
I love her to bits.
You said
she's incredible. She messaged me and she saw the post and she's like, oh my gosh, Monique, like, I don't want you to think that I'm copying, but I'm almost done making my own templates. And I'm like, no, it's okay. Ideas are what I learned from this book is that ideas not always are yours. They float.
Yes.
Right? And if they sit in one person, right, and they're sitting there, they're dwelling, they're going to jump ships and go to someone else because you're not doing anything with it. You're not doing anything creative with that idea. So that idea is like, okay, see ya, I'm off. Yeah. And they go and plant themselves in someone else's mind. So in this one, it was planted in Alicia's mind, and Alicia's like, straight onto it, let's do this. Yes. Right? Yes. Ideas reward the action taker. Not the person who sits there, not the person who's perfectionist. Do you know what I mean? So it's just about when you have an idea, make some actions. Start writing down some action steps. Start putting together some deadlines and making that happen, because you're just going to sit on it for way too long, and then it's going to come out on someone else's page and you'll be like, oh, damn it. Like, what am I going to do? done it when I was supposed to do it. So yeah.
So all of you watching, I know for a fact this has happened to you at one time in your lives. So like let us know that you're agreeing with us, because as you were talking, it just reminded me when I was reading that book, I had a couple ideas out there, and I go back and forth of like, I have so many business ideas all the time as who I am, and I need somebody to be the implementer. So I don't know if you're the dreamer in the business or you the implementer type, but if you have those ideas, it's almost like you have to just hone in on one and give a time period for that to give it the energy that it needs. And if it doesn't happen into whatever it is, you at least started on it, like you said, getting at least 80% there and seeing what happens. Because yes, the ideas, I agree, they just will move on. And then all of a sudden you're the guy that's like, I thought of the Nike logo 17 years ago, and I'm just drawing it over and over, and then somehow it became this national brand. So there's those stories all over the place, and I know all of you are agreeing, but it's just like, okay, so if someone's got an idea, and you're an Instagram and social media coach, but like you're probably coaching them through action, because I know that's where a lot of people's blocking points are, is being consistent on Instagram. My clients are the same way. It's like, I'm going to send you an email on Monday night at 8 p.m. if I didn't see you post, because I know that you need an accountability partner, right? So if someone has this idea, what would your first action step be as a seasoned entrepreneur, someone that has launched something? You've worked for other people, you've now worked for yourself for a while. So give your like practical tip or two of, okay, you came up with this incredible idea. What's next?
Awesome. So once you've come up with the idea, put a plan together as to how you're going to achieve that goal, right? And break it down into smaller action steps, because when you think about it, you've got this massive thing here. So for example, the course, Rise of Reels, massive course, right? How are we going to get there? How are we going to make that a reality, right? So what we did is that we actually broke down the steps in terms of what we needed to do to make that happen. So Alicia and I came down and like, okay, first things first, let's jump on a Zoom call and let's map out exactly what we want inside this course. Because that way we'll know in terms of the value that we're going to be giving. We're also understanding what our audience wants and what they're struggling with. So that actually also allowed us to do some market research, put Instagram polls up on our stories and ask them what they want to see, what they are struggling with. And then we actually created the course based around their answers, so that we knew that when they did join the course, they would be fully equipped with all of the answers that they needed to know to answer their questions. So that's one thing. So break it down, have a meeting with someone, or have a meeting with yourself, break it down, talk it out, and write down steps. So for example, with us, it was to plan out exactly what the course will be and what it will include. Then we worked out the pricing and the pricing structure of that. Then we did some research into the platforms and how to host it. And we went through multiple different avenues until we found the one that we were going to work with. Then when we worked out, okay, how are we going to launch this? What are we going to do? Then we went and spoke to someone who we value dearly, and we got her advice in terms of what we should be doing. So then we went and implemented those, and then just kept on going from there. So yeah, I think it's just about breaking it down into smaller steps and then taking each action as they come. So once one step is done, move on to the next step, and then move on to the next step until you reach that end point there.
That was incredible. So I'm going to repost this, guys, on my feed so you can watch and write down notes. But when you're taking those steps, do you feel like once you got a few under your belt, you felt the momentum? Because it's almost like, okay, you could kind of start to see a little bit closer of the finish line, right? So did you feel that kind of as you worked through it got easier, or did it get harder the more you realized you had to do for the course?
Bit of both.
Yeah.
The start was quite hard because we launched the course without any content yet. So it was essentially like a live course launch. So we'd launched the course, we'd sold the course before we'd actually recorded anything for it, which is actually a great model to do, because there's no skin in the game.
Yeah.
There's no skin in the game. And what I actually found was different. So we've now launched for a second time, or about to launch for a third time in May. But what I've noticed is that from the first launch, I was not nervous at all. I was pumping it. We were fired up. We were ready to go. We had planned so much, right? Because we had all this time to plan. was nervous. And then once we started getting the few people in, that's when we started to record module 1. We recorded module 1, we released module 1 in week 1. Because it's a 4-week course, we've got 4 modules released each week. Then we came down to module 2, round 2, which is happening right now. So we have a few reelers inside here at the moment.
I know, I love it. Everyone's so engaged. It's so fun.
So hello to all of you reelers. So when we went to launch round 2, I remember messaging Alicia being like, I'm nervous. I'm not going to freak you out, but I feel nervous. She's like, why? And I only realized after it was because we had already created the product. It was already great. We'd already seen how great it was and the results that it had. But then we were worried. I was worried if I couldn't then sell that to people because, I don't know. I was just worried about that because we had skin in the game. That was the why. Before we had nothing to lose, whereas now we had the course that we'd actually created to lose. So I think that was the added pressure behind there. So in that sense, it got harder for pressure. Time-wise, by the end of the course of us creating the course, we were both burnt out. We were dead. We were spending every single waking second moment on this course, facilitating the group, facilitating the questions, improving things as we went. You just all that stuff that comes along with creating a course. One weekend, I was a bridesmaid in a wedding on a Friday. My partner's sister got married the next day, and the day after that, my best friend had a baby shower, and we were launching module, I want to say module 2, and I think it was module 2, and it's a pretty big module, that one. And I remember coming home. I remember on Friday morning doing a little bit for the course before the wedding. Saturday that was the wedding, I remember doing a bits and pieces, and then on Sunday before the baby shower doing stuff then, and then after the baby shower doing more stuff. So it was just like every second counted. So that was a lot of pressure, which burnt us out, but I'd do it all again.
And here's the thing. As we're watching you explain this, you can just see how much it means to you and the change that you want to bring to those that are signing up for the course and working with you. And that's like the mark of an incredible entrepreneur. It's like you have these ideas, you're implementing and acting on them, and then you're nervous because you know you can help so many people, but it's almost like, what's going to happen? It's that like you reach the point and then who knows where it's going to go from here. And so I love just like the basically pulling between the lines of just perseverance and just sticking with it and just knowing that no matter what, you had this idea that you wanted to act on and you know it's going to help. Even if it helps one person, it was so worth it. So I love that you just kind of highlighted that growth struggle with us, because I know we've all been or will go through that. Okay, so let's, say, yeah.
So when we launched the first course, I was like, if we get 30 people in this, I will be so happy. 30 people is like a lot of people. And now we have 200 and something, 210.
Exactly.
So it's insane. And, you know, like you set low expectations for yourself so you don't get, you don't get disappointed sometimes.
Yes.
But you know what? You just got to strive towards those goals, because once we hit a goal, we're like, okay, next goal is 60. Okay, next goal is 100. Okay, next goal is this. So it's just about, you know, we kept moving that goalpost every time we hit a goal, which was, I think, is a good way to do it, because you're able to then have micro goals to reach.
Yes. Okay, so I want to do fire round of questions, but I need to plug my phone in. This is real life here. Been working on it all day. So if you can scroll, are you able to see the questions, Monique? If you click the question box, there's one in there. So we can start with that one. And then if you can scroll on the comments, I'm just going to grab somewhere in the house is my phone charger. So if you want to answer, that'd be great.
Yeah, can you bring the question up, because I can't actually click it.
Ooh, I love that.
Perfect. Awesome, done. Okay. What advice would you have for a relatively new freelancer looking for high-paying clients? Okay. This one's tricky because the way that I did it, is great, but I don't know if that will be recommended for lots of people. I actually started working with low ticket clients first, smaller one-on-ones, less commitment, things like that, until I built up what I was doing, until I built up the kind of coaching style that I liked, until I built up testimonials and things like that. Then once I had that, that's when I started charging more higher ticket for my services, for my coaching and things like that. And that's only recently, right? Only I think having the confidence to be able to charge high ticket for clients and for your work is something that comes with a lot of work in your mindset and a lot of work in your confidence too. So I think that is really, really important. So I think I would really look at working on your mindset, working on your money mindset, and working on your confidence to be able to, one, attract these high paying clients, but two, to also facilitate them when you do have them. And also when you are on your Instagram stories, when you're on your posts, having that high vibe energy that is going to attract them to you as well is really, really good. But yeah, make relationships with them, start identifying who your dream client is, who that high paying client is, and then start targeting them in your posts, engaging with them on socials.
Oh, so good, you guys. That was key. I love everyone's take on a question like that because I know that's a common one when you're starting out. Hopefully she answered that. So some people are asking, and I know you get this a lot, we want to increase our following, right? So I can kind of guess what you would suggest right now based on what features are available on Instagram, but maybe you want to give 10, 15, 20 seconds to that.
Perfect. So you already know my answer is Reels.
Yes.
I've been in Reels for 5 months, and in 5 months I've grown from 5,000 followers to almost 24,000 followers.
Can you talk about how consistent you're being, or like the work that you've had to put into doing that?
With that, it's investing in myself, in learning how to do it, right? So we didn't just wake up one day and was like, yeah, awesome, we know how to create Reels. No, it's a lot of trial and error that we did in order, one, to make Reels that we do, two, to make the course, to make sure that it's compatible for everyone. So we've learned different ways, different techniques that are going to entice, our audience and engage them and things like that. So I think my biggest tip and piece of advice would be to keep trying and testing and doing things that are going to help move the needle and help you start understanding who your audience is and what they respond to. Because if you're doing the same thing, you're jumping. That's not going to engage your audience at all. So do something different, have a different transition, change your clothes, talk about something that your audience really wants to talk about. I'm just going to close this window. Talk about your audience talk about something that your audience really wants to talk about. Talk about a hack, do a point of view. Tonight I'm going to do a point of view. I'm yet to record. I'm just finding the perfect audio at the moment. But I'm doing a point of view reel because I haven't done one in quite a while. So now it's time to do one. But yeah, switching up, making sure you're not always posting the same thing all the time. And that's how you grow.
So highlighting some key points is, one, testing it out. Two, it took 5 months. In 5 months, you slowly grew, which is actually very fast compared to the algorithm that we were seeing pre-reel. So just again, if you need any answers on reel stuff, you know who to go to. She is like your girl on this. So, and then also just, you've got one scheduled tonight. So I think maybe that's another thought of scheduling it in and actually baking it into your work day so you have the time to create that.
Batch create your reels. I did that the other day, last week. Sunday night, took me about 3 hours. I batch created 3 or 4 reels for the week and they were done. I didn't have to think about it, didn't have to worry about it, and it was done. Whereas tonight, because big things happened in my life this week, we moved houses and it was just really, really hectic to have Sunday to do it. So now I'm just kind of ad hoc doing it. So so this is my old office, last week's office, my new office house. So we're slowly moving everything over. But yeah, I think it's just about knowing, okay, what days you're going to post and being consistent about it and making that your non-negotiable. For me, one of my, again, brand identity tropes is consistency and and in all facets. So being consistent in my posting, being consistent in my stories, being consistent in my brain message, being consistent in my energy. Now, there are some days where you're like, I am dead. I do not have the energy to jump on reels. I do not have the energy to sit here and do like a transition or to smile and that I'm having the best day ever. And that is okay. You do not need to do something when you are not feeling it, which is why batch creation is so important, because if you're not feeling the greatest, it's okay. You've already recorded that reel the other day. So.
Exactly. And you recorded it on a day that you were feeling inspired. So I love that there was a clubhouse about batch creation versus this, and it all came down to, if you're inspired, do it and try and do as many as you can in that day. That's so huge, Monique. Honestly, all the hearts, people are loving this. This is so good. I know, I love it. Ooh, okay. So someone asked, how do we make sure our video doesn't get cropped in the feed? Do you have a hard stop for a meeting? Should we answer maybe a couple more questions? Do you have time?
Yeah, we'll answer a few more and then we'll jump off. But
yeah, jump off. So this one I know.
This question here is actually what we teach inside of Rise's Reels, our course, which you can jump on the waitlist for round 3, which launches in May. Hence link in my bio to sit on the waitlist. But Module 1 actually talks about how to make sure your video doesn't get cropped. And do you mean as in like your face is cropped, or do you mean the actual dimensions of the video don't fit with Reels?
I'm sure, and maybe she can let us know what she's thinking. But I'm thinking it's, when you put text on it and you're worried, or when it looks in the feed, your head is cropped. So I'm sure you've got kind of like a guideline. Yeah, I love them. Yes. Yep. That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's just about knowing where your head is, because you can't record a reel like this because when it's in your feed, you just see your neck. That's okay, right? So if you take a step back, you tilt your phone up so that you do have space above your head. That way it ensures that even if you are cut off a little bit, it's on the top of your head, and that's fine. It's not like it's here.
Yep.
As long as your eyes are inside your reels, you are good to go. And text-wise as well, making sure the text doesn't go above your head or below, kind of like here, and it needs to fit within here. You'll see when you create your reels, a blue line appears. Just don't go outside the blue line.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love it. Okay, so I'm just scrolling, making sure you had, and we could address this, but you did address this on stories. There's some big changes happening social media wise in Australia with Facebook and all of that. But if you guys are wondering about any of that, she did post something on her stories, so that's helpful. Everyone's loving your templates, saying so many good things about you. How can you, okay, maybe we give some ideas of if somebody is selling books, and this will just help for anyone in any industry, and we'll end with this, but how can they incorporate reels? Do you have any, like, for someone that sells books, what are your hot tips? Right off your head, guys, this is unrehearsed. What would you suggest for them?
So what I would say, a lot of people who are releasing a book, they would have maybe a book signing, or they would have some sort of release date, right? So what you could do is a reel where you were talking about, you had this dream where you could use the audio, anything would happen, or you could use the audio of, and it went like, whatever it might look like. And we had a dream to create a book, to talk about creativity and ideas. It started with one book. You've gone and now and signed the book, and now you've thrown it up and you've put it down, and now you are surrounded by books that are all signed and already ready to go out for you. So that's a great way to showcase the journey that you've gone through, and the fact that you've got all these books that are high on demand here ready to go. That's one thing you could do. Another thing you could do is do a point of view. So it depends on what kind of pain points you're tackling with the book. Specifically, like, is it nonfiction? Is it fiction? What does it talk about? And I would actually really nail down what your key message is inside the book, and then speak to that inside your reels. So it isn't necessarily about books and books, like reels of books. Like, okay, cool. Like, here's this page. Like, no, people don't buy a book because it's a book. People buy a book because of the message inside the book, right? So focus on the key themes and the key talking points inside the book as your reel.
I love that. I hope that was helpful for you guys. So you can think about that for your own business and what you sell and the services. Monique, this was absolutely incredible. Do you want to end with like something inspirational or maybe a tip or trick you learned this week, and then we'll close out? I'm really making you work right
Or
now. I know you're probably in the middle of work and meetings.
um, I would say don't let the fear of standing out stop you from creating incredible content and watching your business grow.
That's so good.
Because people are too afraid to stand out, to be bold, to be different, to do something that no one else has done because it's uncharted waters, or because people, oh, they're scared what people might think, or they're scared about what people might say. Chances are they're going to applaud you anyway. So don't be afraid of that, and actually put in the work to make your business grow and stand out online, because that's the only thing that you can do.
Oh,
Awesome.
I love that. So you guys need to stalk her page. It's the Socialista _. She's got a ton of reels on there. You'll laugh, you'll save them. There's some good points. This was absolutely incredible. And then you have the Reels course and now some Reels templates. So like literally you have no excuse not to post your first reel. So I hope you guys feel inspired by Monique. Thank you so much for hanging.
Thank
Good
you
luck
for
with the rest of your move, Monique. Oh my gosh. That's some, yeah.
In a week and a half, I'll be fully moved. Today was internet, electricity, and gas. So hopefully when I get to the house tonight, it is all done, so I can slowly start moving the office into there.
Yes.
So yeah, crazy, but so super excited. Thank you so much for having me. It was great to chat. And I will see you on the gram.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.